All right, guys, let's dive right into it. Welcome to Brilliant Directories Webinar Wednesday, where you can gain tips to grow your online community. I'm Jason there on your left, one of your presenters today. We're also lucky enough to be joined by Rick and Patrick Brunelle. Rick is a support specialist here at Brilliant Directories. There's a high probability that you may have interacted with Rick via email or phone call. So thank you for joining us, Rick. And we're also here with Patrick, who is a digital marketing expert and specializes in marketing and growing Brilliant Directories websites. So gentlemen, thank you for being able to join us here today.
Thanks a lot for having us.
Glad to be here, Jason.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And I always like to encourage everyone to join our Facebook group. You can go to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook and go ahead and join the group. We'll wait for you if you want to go ahead and do that right now. It's a great place to carry on the conversations after Webinar Wednesday. There's fantastic participation in there. I learn a lot. I see that people are asking good questions and assisting each other. So if you're looking to continue to find ways to grow your online community, you definitely want to be part of our Brilliant Directories strategy group on Facebook. Just go to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook. And I do see a few new names attending with us today, so welcome. It's great to be with you here on Webinar Wednesday. You are in for a treat. Webinar Wednesday is a great platform to increase and gain more marketing skills to grow your community faster and more efficiently. Some topics that we like to cover during Webinar Wednesdays are ways that help you build a stronger community. And this can be through ways to convert visitors into members, increase your website traffic. We could talk about search engine optimization strategies, identifying specific ways in which you can increase your revenue based on the industry that you're serving. And one of my favorite topics is improving the website navigation. This is something that we always come back to when we're reviewing somebody's website, is making small tweaks and changes, whether it's images or text or the main menu links, and that has a huge impact on the performance of a website in gaining new members and engagement from visitors. So if you have questions, if you've just started your website or you've had your website and community online for a while and you're looking for ways to take it to the next level, please share your questions with us. We will get to them just a little bit later in the webinar, so have those ready. And part of marketing and growing your community, and we're going to include this slide in all the Webinar Wednesdays moving forward, is to be conscious of the hamster wheel. And the hamster wheel is getting stuck in one of these 5 steps. You always want to make sure you're cycling through these 5 steps, identifying a problem, creating copy that explains how you solve that problem, designing your website, marketing your website, following up with members. You want to continuously keep cycling through these steps and not getting stuck in any one specific area. Just as a side note, I do realize a lot of people get stuck on step 3. Think of it as a boxing match. You want to kind of jab and punch and dodge, and you want to keep moving through these steps so that you're always growing different aspects of your community. And I just wanted to mention Webinar Wednesday is such a great platform for marketing tips and strategies. If you have any technical issues or support questions, you do have the Brilliant Directory support team behind you. You can go ahead and email them if you're reporting any new known issues or you need help troubleshooting that may not be working properly on your website. We are here to support you, and that's an appropriate place to reach out, and time to reach out to support is for those things. All right, great. We're going to keep this webinar short and sweet, but a lot of good information here. We're going to dive right into one of my favorite segments here is Rick's Corner, where Rick can provide simple solutions for common questions. And this is actually a common question that I see in support tickets, I've seen in the Facebook group, and I've even heard in webinars and phone calls. So Rick, can you tell us a little bit about what is the difference between member articles versus blog articles as far as the different post types for the directory websites?
Sure thing, Jason. I'm actually happy to show you what the main difference is between the two types of post types. The idea behind the member articles and the idea behind the blog articles. We're definitely going to cover both. Um, I'll be happy to share my screen as well, just to walk you guys through the different options that you have available here.
Perfect. So let's take a step back and maybe explain to us what we're even talking about. Like, if you can show us what you were referencing in the admin and on the front end of a site as to what these types of articles are. Let me pass over the screen to you.
Okay, perfect. So this is the correct screen. All right, so back to the topic on hand. The idea is that Brilliant Directories offers two options for you to create articles: the member articles and the blog articles. Now, the member articles, as the name is very explicit and it explains by itself, the idea is that the user of the website is the one that creates those articles. And the blog articles are intended for your community, meaning the admin of the website is able to publish content through those blog articles. Let me start off by navigating to the product section of the backend. Here is where we're going to be able to identify the membership levels and the post types that those membership levels have. So by default, all Brilliant Directories websites come with three different types of members or membership levels or products. One of them being the admin blog contributor. This is a default membership level. And well, the other two are the general user, and then usually like a premium or feature type of membership level is also included by default. Now let's go ahead and focus on the admin blog contributor for now. So what we're gonna do here, what we have to do here is to ensure that this membership level has the correct post type activated so they can go ahead and complete those type of posts. In this particular scenario, this is called the design blog. In any other case, it would be referenced to as just the general blog, website blog, or admin blog. So when we are sure that this post type is active, let me go ahead and open this up here on a different tab. I'm just going to navigate to the members inside this particular website, and I'm going to log in as one of those members so we can go ahead and view this in a much more easier way. So let's go ahead and open up the login as the member. All right. Now, when we log in as this member, here what we have are the design blogs. Very straightforward. We have that here to the left. So here we have the design blogs. Let me go ahead and open that up. I'm going to add a design blog. So once again, this particular website, this post type is called design blog, but it could be called anything else that is more related towards your own industry, towards your own community. Now, when you have created this membership level and you have indeed assigned an admin of your website to be able to publish this type of content, this is what they're going to have available. Now you have the publish, of course, this is super straightforward, and it's also important to note that this is the same for both the member articles and the website blog up until this point. So let me scroll down, and here this is the main difference between the two different types of posts. So you have the custom SEO data, and that's the meta title, the meta description, and the meta keywords. This is information that search engines are going to pick up on, and they're going to index each individual post that you complete through this feature, through this post type, according to what you set up as the meta title, as the meta description, as the meta keywords. So besides that, the rest of the form is the same in both of those both of those post types, but basically gives you, as the admin of the website, more control over each post, right? Because you're able to edit this information.
So Rick, so what you're showing us is only the admins of the site would publish blog articles, is what you're saying, and then the other one, the member articles, are more like community articles that the other members of your site would contribute articles to?
That users of the website will contribute content to, correct. So
they're shown separately on the website. They're not mixed.
Correct. They're actually separate. We're going to get to that in just 1 second. I wanted to point out the fact that the idea behind the blog, the one that we are on here right now, the admin blog, is like the holy place for your website, right? You as a directory owner want to ensure that you're publishing useful content for your community, and this is basically a place where you're going to go ahead and add that content and those articles, right, through the blog. So as Jason just put it, they do come up in the front end in 2 different sections. So you have the /blog, which is going to display the admin blogs. So let me go ahead and jump there real quick here. So I'm just going to go to /blog. And here in this search results page, let's just wait for a second for it to load. This is where you're going to have all the blog posts that are completed by the admin. So /blog basically just references the blog articles that are published by the admin. On the other hand, then the other option or the other feature that we have is the /articles. So this /articles is basically the section in which all the content or articles that get published by the user of the website show up. So let's go ahead and take a peek here. We did go over the admin blog contributors. I'm just going to go ahead and open up the premium trusted listing because I know that this particular product does have that feature active. So let me go ahead and open those members up here real quick. And I'm going to show you what the difference is between those articles and the blog articles that we just saw. So let's go ahead and just log in as one of these. Anyone will work. So let's go ahead and log in as Stacy Hartwell. When we're logged in, then here, instead of having the blog articles that we saw before, we have the member articles. In this particular scenario, again, since these are features that you can activate or deactivate all across the products that you offer, this particular member had the design blog articles as well, but that's not usually the case. What we're going to focus on right now are the member articles. I'm going to go ahead and add a member article here real quick just to show you the main difference between this form and the other one that we saw. So as you can see here, this is actually very straightforward, very similar to what we saw before, but if we scroll down, we don't have the additional custom SEO information that we had. And it's also very important to note that the content that gets published through those member articles is going to show up on the /articles page of all the Brilliant Directories websites. So this is going to be the search results page that's going to display all the articles that are published by the user of your website.
Right, and those articles might be a little more self-promoting of the member's services or some industry knowledge that they might have. And you definitely want to keep those separate from what your company's website blog is trying to present to the world and that type of information. So this is a way to keep them separated. Very nice.
That is completely correct. The idea, but it's also very important to note that these articles that are published on this section by your members are also very useful for you as a directory owner, right? So as a community website owner, it's very important for your users to contribute this type of content. You can then repurpose that content by sharing it somewhere else, sharing it on social media, and use it in different campaigns. So it's very important for you as the website owner to constantly keep this going, keep people motivated to contribute this type of content to your website, so then you can use that later on down the road.
Fantastic. And then lastly, the articles that the members publish, they also show on the members' profile page. So they are getting credit for the content they're contributing to the website, correct? It's not just the title and a description.
100%. So that's also a very valid point. If you notice that more and more of a specific type of customer is publishing this type of content, then that's something that you should look for, and that's something that you should promote yourself, as this is going to help your website altogether. Awesome. So yeah, the user of the website does get a list added to their profile when they publish this type of content.
So I have two questions for you, Pat. Pat, what do you think the best utilization of the website blog is? And then secondly, what's the best way to incentivize members to contribute articles to your website? Because writing articles does seem like a lot of work. How can you simplify that and incentivize your members to contribute content to your site, such as articles?
That's a great question. I have to say that of all the features that get activated on directories, the one that I find is the emptiest for the longest is the member articles. And I think it's all about going back to that flywheel, to the hamster wheel concept, where you're launching your website and you're identifying what need am I filling. Oftentimes that need is directly related to the type of content that you're getting people to publish. So obviously if I'm an events directory, I want to be publishing events. If I'm a classifieds directory, I want to make it classifieds. So if I'm introducing member articles just because I think my members will write an article because they feel like doing so, it's very difficult, because as a member, that's the most taxing piece of content you can ask me to write. So I think it's important that you don't release member articles until you have a strategy that will incentivize them, until you have a plan of attack, and you can help explain to them, if they do write an article, what the benefits of adding that content is. I think it's a great segue actually to the tip of the week when we do get to that, because we are going to touch on how important it is to incentivize your members to help them understand the value of that content. For those that do it well, the member articles, the public blog, the community blog, it's one of the best sources of original content, and it's really good for SEO, and it's really good for driving traffic to the website, but it has to be released responsibly with a plan of attack behind it.
Gotcha. I think one way to simplify asking members to write articles is maybe not asking them to write articles, but it could be like it's any piece of content. It basically has a title and then a body of text. So it could really be anything. It could be an update. I've seen people use it as like status updates instead of blog posts, and they only utilize the title part of blogs. So it makes it easy for members to continuously post updates. You can also call it something instead of articles, like checklists, or like 5-tip. Maybe you could call it like 5-tip articles, and the theme is that members publish 5 tips about something about that industry. So it's anything to make it a little more simple and less daunting for members to write. And then of course incentivizing them, letting them know how they're going to benefit by publishing those articles. You're going to showcase them on the website. You're going to share them in your newsletters. You're basically going to give them more exposure for those articles.
I do agree, Jason. Giving a little bit of guidance. I've also seen some directories call them marketing tips. So they ask their members to share marketing tips, so they don't call them articles. Some of them are travel blogs, so they get people to post travel blogs. Some of them have them be recipes. Some of them have them be book reviews. It's interesting when you take, because articles, exactly,
so vague.
It could be anything. It's so vague, but if you can give a little bit of guidance, and it's a directory for mom, and it's kids activities, and then moms can write what the kids activity is, with that guidance, you're much more encouraged to provide that content, because it isn't vague at that point. It is guided, and you read other activities and you want to contribute because the content is good, and that definitely is a good approach.
And what would you say?
If you guys don't mind, let me just interrupt real quick, because I forgot to mention something that's very important, and it's the difference between the member articles and the blog articles. So as I started explaining, the blog articles have the custom SEO section added, right? So that's one of the main differences between the website articles and the blog articles. Now, the reason why that custom SEO those custom SEO settings are activated for the blog articles and not for the member articles is because you, as a directory owner, do have control of what gets published on those SEO, those additional SEO settings. If we would have activated that for the members, it's very difficult to control what they'll be posting, and it could eventually end up hurting you as a directory owner.
Absolutely. Very, very I wouldn't rely on my members to fill in the SEO meta details of their posts, whether it's member articles or coupons. You're just asking for a catastrophe at that point. Either they're going to abuse it or they're going to do it incorrectly. So those ones are better to be managed by the SEO templates, the master SEO templates. But yeah, when you're creating your admin website blog posts, you do want to have that extra level of control to customize the meta tags per article. So yeah, definitely agree with you there, Rick.
And Jason, quick question. If I'm a directory owner, I'm just getting started and I'm not too familiar with SEO, and I go and write an admin blog article
Skip
and
it.
I leave those SEO, if I skip it, what would happen? Does that mean there's no SEO on that article?
No, all of the templates have a fallback master, SEO, so you're going to be just fine with regards to those. Those are just optional fields to override the master SEO meta tags.
All right, that's great.
I'd say let's open it up to some questions here. If any, I'd like to hear if anyone is running a blog on their website or allowing members to post articles on their website. If you've had successes or struggles in getting members to contribute articles, if you want to raise your hand, we'd love to unmute your microphone here and get your feedback on how you can get members to contribute articles. And while people are raising their hands, Pat, I wanted to get to that second part of my question. What do you think is the best way to utilize the website's company blog, the admin's blog for the website? And what are some pitfalls or common errors to avoid when you're running your own company blog?
So I do think it does come down to deciding what problems it is you're solving for the industry, especially as you're getting started with your directory, and building a repertoire of content that gives you the credibility in the industry of saying that, hey, you do know what you're talking about, you're offering a lot of quality content and solutions. Oftentimes people will say give away your best content for free, and people will be more willing to sign up, perhaps to download premium content or to get a full membership. If you're giving away good content for free because you're an expert in your industry, that's what's going to make somebody want to be a part of your community. They're going to say, I'm not catching content like this anywhere else. It's tailor-made to me, and I'm going to want to join this particular directory and keep getting information like this delivered to me.
No, those are great suggestions. Basically, quality content curated specifically for one audience that you're trying to connect with. One of the common pitfalls we see from time to time in the webinars even, people have their blog, but I'll just use a simple example. Let's say doctors. They have a directory to find doctors. So they'll write blog articles like 10 tips for finding doctors, and in the same stream they'll have an article 10 ways doctors can attract more patients. So they're writing for the consumer and they're writing for the professional, and those should actually be separated, because now you have now if a consumer reads that, they feel like this website is trying to find ways to market to them, which you never want to feel like you're being marketed to as a customer or consumer. So one strategy is, if you don't want to give your members the ability to publish articles, the member articles, you can create two channels yourself, one for the end user, the website visitor, and one for the professional members that are actually searchable on your directory, and create two different channels and streams with content that appeals to each one individually without commingling the messaging between the two.
That's correct. And normally what I recommend is the blog that's public facing, which means it's on your main menu or it's highlighted in your homepage. I always recommend that to be the blog for your end users, the people that are using your directory to find members. And if you're going to write articles like marketing tips or strategies for your members to get more business, I usually recommend you make that a members only and make it exclusive for them, and actually make that one of the reasons why they want to sign up. But just because it's members only, it doesn't mean that you can't also have it be public facing and have it be something that you drive traffic to generate leads. Because if you're really giving away great marketing tips and you're writing great content, you're probably going to want to spend some advertising dollars and driving traffic there, because that tends to be what helps to convert the most, is when people in the industry say, wow, this site, I'm a dentist, and this site's giving me great insights into how I can get more people to come to my particular practice. Maybe this is a directory worth investing in, but I probably wouldn't make that a front-facing blog article, because the end goal of most directories is for the end users to find the services and the professionals.
That's right. That would be your like B2B side. Things that are business to business, you kind of want to keep them behind the curtains. Consumers aren't really aware of them, no matter what it is, whether it's content or any types of business dealings. The consumer walks into a restaurant and orders their food. They don't see what's going on in the back of the kitchen with the person that's delivering the fish and the meat and the vendors and the fabric and cloth suppliers. That's business B2B. They have their own separate blog that they deal with. So think of your website like a restaurant, actually, is a good analogy. You have the front of the house, which is for the consumers, and then back of the house, which is all your business dealings and vendors and things like that. And that could be its own happy universe as well. And that's a good way to think about separating if you're going to use the member blogs and the admin blog for those two different channels.
That's correct. And for example, if I sign up as a business for Yelp, they'll nurture me and they'll educate me as a business because I'm their customer, and they'll have an article that says how to deal with a negative review, because they want to equip me with tools on how to deal with that negative review, because they do want to give me good customer support. But they're obviously not going to make that a blog that's front facing on their website, because they don't want the consumers to be seeing how businesses are being taught to deal with those negative reviews. So yes, the kitchen analogy is a great one.
Fantastic. So I think we covered two methodologies or two strategies with these two different channels to essentially just publish any types of articles. One, your member community articles, the ones that all the members' articles go up to, the users' articles. The other is your personal company blog, where you just post information that you curate that yourself. The other is you as the admin managing two channels of your blog, one for the end user and one for the professional members. So those are two strategies, and I see we have some people's hands raised. We got a good friend, Jeff, here. Jeff, I'm going to try to unmute your microphone. There we go. How are you today?
Morning, guys. Good. Just a question with regarding separating channels. If you're writing an admin blog and you want a certain member level to actually get access to that rather than the public,
yes.
So you could have the second channel.
Yes, so that would be premium content on your site. It's very common. So what I would recommend doing, and you probably have this, is using the members only content. And what that would allow you to do is not only restrict specific pages of your site, but entire specific types of content. So those could be like the admin blog articles, and then you can pre-select which membership levels can have access to that entire group of content.
Jason, I think it would only take you 2 minutes to show us with the interior design demo. If I wanted to clone the admin blog and call it marketing tips and make that only for one membership level, what would be the steps to follow for that? Because it's very quick to do this. You could have two admin blogs on Brilliant Directories, one that's intended for front-facing end users and one that is just for a specific membership level like Jeff is asking for.
Absolutely. But let me show you how to do that. But did I answer your question a little bit there, Jeff?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's say you wanted to create a third channel of articles, right? Your BD site comes with two channels, but you can very easily create a third channel. The easiest way to do that would be to come to your content, edit post settings, and from here you can see all the different types of content that can be published throughout your website. In this case, let's clone the member article. Go ahead and clone it. So now we have two member articles. We're going to want to change a few things here, and we'll call these just premium secret articles, right? So just give it a nickname, premium secret articles. You're going to want to change the URL permalink because it's going to be a different channel basically. So we'll just call these premium articles, premium-articles. That's really all you need to change. Actually, you might want to change the title that you see on the search results page. So the search results design, we'll change the title to premium search results, and I'll just go ahead and save the changes there.
Now, one more little detail, Jason.
Yes.
Perhaps from the general settings, we'll say not to show for everybody, correct? If it's going to be members only?
Yes, let's show that. So if you wanted to make this members only content, you can scroll down here, and this setting here, if you have that add-on, you'll have this option, always show content. You're basically saying, are these posts public to everyone, or are you going to pre-select which members can have access to this content? So if you don't want this to be automatically public, these types of posts to the world, you're going to want to set this to no. And what we've done in effect here, this is going to be really cool. I'm glad you brought this up, Pat, because we're going to go back to what Rick was doing at the beginning of this segment. And now that we've created this brand new membership post type of post, so here it is, premium secret articles. Now we have to choose which members can publish this article and which members can view this article. So let's head on over to the Finance tab. And let's say we want the admin blog contributor to be the one to publish this. So we're going to edit the admin blog contributor membership level. And we're going to go to post publishing. Those are the privileges and restrictions for publishing content. And if we scroll down, these are all the ones we saw: classifieds, design blog, here's member articles, and we now have premium secret articles. So the admin owner can post, and we'll save the changes. And then we can go to another membership level, like our premium membership levels or whatever it might be, and select can view. And because this is a private post type now, because of the setting that we selected a few moments ago, I have to select which other membership levels can view this type of post. And in effect, you now have members-only content. You've created a new channel of post types, and you have full control over who can view these types of posts, Jeff.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Good question there. Let's see. We got VJ's got his hand up. VJ, do you have any comments or questions about member articles versus blog articles?
Yes, I do. First time on one of these calls, or a couple of times anyway, but yeah, so I write down a few questions about when member articles are posted, is there a way that we can approve the article? So like
10 points for
Love
you.
it.
10 points for you, Pat. It was a guarantee that someone was going to ask that question. So you as the admin owner would like to moderate the articles before they go live, even if the members are creating them, correct?
Right. Just because like if they might be posting stuff that's always going live that's not appropriate for the site. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let me show you in 3 steps how you can accomplish that. All right. It's going to get a little technical. I say technical level is 4 out of 10 on this one, because you just need to follow the instructions basically. The first thing we need to do is, let's use the member articles as an example here, VJ, okay?
Sure.
So come to the edit post settings, and because you might want to do this for certain post types like events or member articles, but not for other post types like coupons or job listings. It's up to you. But if you wanted to do it, for example, for the member articles, first thing we want to do is identify which form in the form manager is being filled out when the member creates their member article. So if you edit the member article settings, if you scroll down, you'll see here select form to use, and it's the member articles form. That's the form we're going to want to edit, and our goal and objective here is we're going to remove the option where the member selects publish yes or no. Because when the member publishes, they can choose, when it creates an article, they can choose if it's published yes or no. In effect, what we're going to do is every time the member submits or saves the form, it's going to automatically set it as unpublished status, not published status. So now that we know which form to use, we're going to head on over to our toolbox and go to the form manager. And once we're in the form manager, we're going to identify the member articles form. So we're going to use this little search filter here in the top. I'm just going to search for member article fields, and here it is. And I can already see that this is the form that's being used. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this. Once we're here, you just need to do a couple things, VJ. This is the field where it says publish, and the field type is yes or no. So again, the member is simply selecting publish, yes or no. We want to change the field type, and you want to select the advanced form field type hidden field. Okay, and then in the field label name, just put the number 0. So this is going to be a hidden field in the form, and every time the member resaves this post, it's going to be set to an unpublished status. Even if they're coming back to edit the post, every time they save this form for an article they're saving, it's going to set the post status, publish yes or no, to 0, which is the unpublished status. And then what
and
you...
Jason,
yeah?
why if I want to moderate the post for my members, why is it that I'm going to make it so if they go and edit the article, it sets it to unpublished again? What would be the for that?
Well, they could totally change the article from what its original form was, what it was saying. So anytime there's an edit, you probably want to remoderate it for appropriateness and just to make sure it's in line with whatever your website guidelines are.
Yeah, of course.
If you're going to moderate in the first place, then at that point you're moderating every resave. Chances are people aren't going to come back and resave their articles, but oftentimes they may, and to refresh the article or the content. But it's important for the admin to, if they're moderating the site, for the post to be set to unpublished. And then the last piece of this puzzle. So now members are saving or editing articles. They're all being set to unpublished because of this. What I just did here, just 2 things: hidden field value 0, and then lastly, the way to view all the unpublished content, VJ, is you can go from time to time into your content, manage posts, and this is basically all the posts that you and your members have published to the site or added to the site. And what you can do is, let's say it's design blogs. In the top right corner, you can search for the word unpublished, and then you can then sift through all your unpublished articles and then manually set them as to a published status if you choose to do so. But anyways, that will solve your problem, VJ, and allow you to moderate all the posts from your members.
Awesome, thanks heaps. Yeah, it's a cool feature.
All right, awesome. Thanks for the question there. And Pat, you're right. Someone was going to ask that one. Okay.
Of course. It comes up quite frequently. In my experience, and I've been doing this for a very long time, I've yet to encounter one directory owner that's run into the issue of somebody pushing inappropriate content. I know it may not be the most responsible approach, but I usually abide by the rules that until there is a problem, there is no problem. So I usually recommend not, especially as you're getting started, not to put in too many roadblocks in getting content up. I think most people will be pleasantly surprised to see that there's not a lot of people trying to sabotage direct content. I understand responsibly why you'd want that, but in all the years I've been doing this, thankfully, I haven't heard of a scenario where something inappropriate has been posted. Hopefully that will continue. Of course, the moment that happens, you may have to adapt, but I usually recommend not going through these additional steps that we're going through right now. But I understand why certain people want to take these measures too.
Awesome. All right, Rick, thank you very much. Obviously, we can continue going on about strategy for blog articles versus member articles. It's obviously a great topic, and there's a wide range of benefits for each one. So if you have more questions about this, this is a great this is a great topic to continue in the Facebook group. So if you have more questions about blog articles versus member articles, feel free to ask them in the Facebook group. So thank you so much, Rick, for this segment.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys.
All right, let's dive into the tip of the week. If you're just joining us, you came at the perfect time. The tip of the week here is super high value. Whether you're a startup directory or an established directory, we want to show you the value in welcoming new members to build lasting relationships and why this is important for your entire community, to welcome new members, make them feel warm and fuzzy, and also steps that you can take today to optimize the way in which you welcome new members. And Pat, can you share a little bit about why it's even important to welcome your new members, and why not just let them sign up and not deal with them anymore? Why is it important?
I mean, with as fast as things are moving these days, and people make decisions instantly without much thought behind them anymore. Either you saw an ad that was interesting, you saw an article that got you engaged, there was something that got you to click a button, fill out a form somehow, some way, but it hasn't really made an impact on you yet. We all fill out forms, we all browse the internet, we all interact, and it's very easy to forget even things that you've signed up for. Oh, I forgot I signed up for that tool. Oh, I forgot I signed up to that community. Unless you have a plan in place to make sure that when they signed up, because they signed up for a reason, you had their interest, they were interested in something about what you had to offer, you have a very small window to follow through on what they're hoping to get out of you. It's basically the beginning of a relationship, and it's that one small window that you have to make it and basically have them become a champion of your brand. And if you don't have a good strategy in place, you may have people signing up, but they're not upgrading, or they're not engaging, or they're not adding content. And that's because you haven't really figured out a good strategy for welcoming people that have become a part of your community.
Yep, I agree with that. You basically have a few moments in time where a person is going to decide if they're going to continue to follow you, or they're going to choose to forget you. And having a quality welcome plan is one strategy you can utilize to sway them more towards the follow side rather than going down the forget route. But before you can start figuring out how you want to welcome and shower your members with awesome things, you need to have a plan. You need to have a guide and a map that you follow. And these are the map that you follow, the guide that you follow relates back to the hamster wheel. You need to define your audience, because if you're going to make a welcome plan and you're going to welcome new members, you have to know who you're welcoming, and you have to know what problems they have that you as a community are committed to solving. And then you have to let them know what you promise to provide them with, whether it's going to be tips, leads, more sales, information, making them feel loved. You have to know what expectations you want to set, and they have to know what you have to set their expectations, so that everyone's on the same page and you know the types of things you should be delivering to them in your welcome plan and beyond. And then lastly, you have to decide, and this kind of goes back to last week's tip of the week webinar, how automated you want things to be, or how hands-on your engagement is going to be. If you have a high volume of members, you probably want to move more towards the automated route. If you have a fewer number of members, you probably want to be more hands-on, where you give direct phone calls and one-on-one love to the new signups. But these are just some things you have to have in place. And when you're defining your audience, you want to do one at a time. So we were talking about the website visitors versus the professional members. Those are two different types of audiences, and it warrants two different types of welcome plans for each one. So our suggestion is, when you're listening to this tip of the week, keep in mind that you're going to be doing this for one audience at a time.
Yeah, that's great advice, and I think that's probably one of the things that people skip the most, is they try to build the site for everybody at the same time. But here what we're saying is, basically, do you want to take care of the welcome experience of the end users of your site, the people that are browsing your directory, or do you want to start off by taking care of the welcome experience of the businesses or the professionals that are signing up, the members themselves? And just commit 100% to making sure that whichever audience it is that you're starting with, make that experience absolutely phenomenal. And when you've completed all of these steps that we're going to go through in today's presentation, then the reason we call it getting off the hamster wheel is because you're going to get off, you're going to follow all the steps, and when you're done and you've released the content, you're going to start back and you're going to go after the next audience. And it really doesn't stop. It's just a continual process that you can implement for your particular directory.
That's right. Yeah. Eventually, you want to have a welcome plan for all your different audiences, but start with one. Pick a lane. Because you don't want to commingle your messaging, like we mentioned, for the end users and the professional members. So what are the benefits of a quality welcome plan? Well, it's all about customer delight. Like we mentioned, you have a few moments in time to really sway them towards the follow side. And what happens when you do that for your website and your community is you're going to get continued engagement from your members after the initial sign up. They're not just going to sign up and abandon your website. You're also going to demonstrate that you're an industry leader, because ideally the assets that you follow up with will be related to knowledge that you have on the industry that your members are seeking, and therefore they'll look to you as a beacon of information for the market that you're in. Also, with the continued engagement from a welcome plan, there's higher probabilities of upgrades because there's more touch points. You're continuing to interact with the signups after they join initially. And you get members involved and participating on your website. Ideally, with a good welcome plan, you tell them what to do next on your website. You tell them how to get involved, so you get greater participation. And hopefully, as an example, is publishing member articles. If you can tell them the incentives of doing so and getting them to participate, they're going to stay within your community's universe longer. And if they're staying in your community's universe longer, you're going to have less churn rate. That basically means less cancellations of membership. So rather than your community staying stagnant or shrinking, it will continue to grow, because these are the benefits of a quality welcome plan. And in case you think you can slip by without a welcome plan, you might be able to, but you're missing out on easy wins, because a welcome plan, and it sounds like a big term and a lot of work, but we're going to show you how simple a welcome plan can actually be and the value that you can gain. So without welcoming your new members, you're basically leaving them out to dry after they sign up. So they joined your site and now there's no follow-up. Even a good welcome email is lacking. So you're basically not telling your members what to do. You're going to get less overall engagement because of that, because eventually people will forget about you and you haven't told them what to do or how to participate on your website. There's also going to be missed opportunities to connect further and also educate them, so they're not going to see you as an industry leader, so it's hard for you to establish credibility. These welcome plans are a great way to establish credibility and for them to understand the voice and persona of your company's mission. Lastly, well, not lastly, but you're going to have more abandoned or canceled membership. That goes back to the churn rate. If people don't feel like there's any value coming from your community, they'll just stop using your website. They won't come back. They'll forget about you. Eventually, they'll cancel their memberships if they're paid memberships, because they just don't know how to participate on your website, and they're probably not gaining any benefits. All of this actually makes it more expensive for you to operate your directory website. If you have a good welcome plan and members are participating on your website and they're enjoying the experience, they are going to turn into your marketers. They're going to recruit new members. They're going to do a lot of the marketing for you. And also, not just doing the marketing, but when new prospects see this activity, new prospective members see this activity from the members, it's going to make it an easier decision for them to want to join your community. So when you don't have that sense of community, you are going to have to market 10 times harder, and that becomes expensive for you as the website owner, and it makes it harder and takes longer to grow your community.
And that point is so important to me. It's really, in the past, it was all about that marketing funnel for the marketers that are on this call with us, and that was all about driving more leads that would convert into more customers. And you would say, if I want to increase my business, I just increase more leads. And the customer, the person that signs up on your directory, is actually an afterthought, because you're always thinking about that next sign up, where in fact it's a much better investment to make sure that the person that signs up on your directory has the very best experience they possibly can. If Jason signs up on my directory and he's the first ever member, and I wow him and I blow him away with quality, and I reach out to him for help with connections, and I ask him for favors to help promote my brand, I'm going to have somebody that's happy to help me out because I've gone out of my way to make the customer experience an exceptional one. And it's actually the best investment that you can make is focusing on the actual customers you have rather than always focusing on bringing in new customers while ignoring your primary base.
That just goes back to the, we've heard it many times. It's more economical to keep an existing customer than to source a new customer, to find a new customer. So therefore, customer retention or member retention is less expensive than new member recruitment, potentially. So this is where this number 5 point comes in, where if you aren't retaining your customers and you're losing them because you're not establishing a good initial connection after their sign up, it could become very expensive and your growth will be stagnant because you'll just be plateauing every month rather than going up. But don't worry. Like we said, it's not that hard. A simple yet effective welcome plan can do the heavy lifting for you to create those lasting relationships with your members. So a little bit of upfront work will go a long way for you. So what are some of the goals of a quality welcome plan? We've kind of covered them, but in essence, what you want to do is create an unbreakable bond and loyal following. Now that's gonna get established over time, but it has to start somewhere. And if you've convinced someone to subscribe to your newsletter or sign up as a free or paid membership, they're just getting their feet wet. They like what they see. And we want to turn that curiosity into that loyal following. And it starts with the welcome plan and welcoming the new member to the community. So what you want to do is you want to help members feel confident about their decision to be part of their community. And that could be by providing them with relatable content for the main reason they joined, making them feel like they're at home, they're among peers and colleagues and like-minded people. You also want to show them what to do next. So people sign up and they need guidance. We were talking about providing guidance for the type of articles we want members to write. We also want guidance on how we want people to utilize our community. You can do, X, Y, and Z. You can do this. You can do that. Please do this now. Add your profile photo. Things like that. Just give them a little guidance, and they'll follow the steps because they're excited to see what your new community is all about. And that ties right into that, giving them more opportunities to participate, whether it's to view content or produce content, or explore content or produce content. These are ways to participate on your website. And then what I like, number 4 here, is showering them with more than they expected. So maybe they signed up and they thought they were just getting a very simple, access to a community. But if you can surprise them with a wealth of resources that they just unlocked and they just hit the jackpot somehow, and these don't have to be complicated resources to create. We'll cover that in just a moment. But if you can shower them with more than they expected, you're going to wow them, and there's a higher chance that they're going to want to stay connected to your community longer. And again, this all starts with after they initially join your website. And Pat came up with this one, number 5, and I really like this one, is introducing them to additional communication channels. Can you speak on that just a little bit, Pat, please?
Definitely, and I think everybody that's listening in today can agree. We've all gone a little tone deaf to emails. Even if you sign up, maybe you'll open up that first email, maybe you'll open up that second email, but after a while, even if you love the brand, if you love what they sell, even if it's an important part of your routine, you stop opening up those emails. So I find it critical at the beginning stages of the relationship that you introduce other communication channels. Why? Because if your customers or your members or your community stops opening up emails, maybe you'll invite them to a LinkedIn group, or you'll send out a personal invitation, and maybe you'll have them follow your Twitter account. Maybe you want them to join your Facebook group. But what that's going to do is it's going to make sure that, maybe my member is not opening my emails anymore, and I've lost that a connection with them. But if I post something in the Facebook group, then perhaps I have a chance that they see it in that way and they can interact with it. So all of your members are going to interact with different technologies. Some people like Facebook, some people love Twitter, some people like Instagram, some people like email communication. But what's important is to diversify. And the more you diversify, the better chance you give yourself to make sure that the message that you want to send out to your community is going to be heard by the most amount of people possible.
And some pitfalls to avoid with that, Pat. Actually, you don't need to be everywhere. Find out where the majority of your audience participates. It could be LinkedIn, it could be Facebook, it could be Twitter, it could be YouTube, it could be Instagram. These are all social networks that exist for a reason, and you don't need to, man all of them. Right as of right now, Brilliant Directories doesn't have an Instagram account that we manage. We're focusing our resources on Facebook, and I think it's doing a fantastic job as an additional channel to communicate with our Brilliant Directories community. And
Jason, just so people can relate, because it's always nice to make it a personal experience, you also have to experiment, because you don't know what community your community will react to. So when I believe when Brilliant Directories started out, you had given LinkedIn a try at the beginning, correct? And it wasn't exactly what you were hoping in terms of engagement, and you were willing to adapt to that and be flexible and try new things, and I believe that worked out better.
Absolutely, yeah. We had a LinkedIn group for several years. People would join it, but the format in which LinkedIn groups managed conversations and discussions actually wasn't very constructive. So, last year or at some point, we asked everyone to join our new Facebook group. We started with 0 members in Facebook. Now we have over 1,000, close to 1,500 members in the Facebook group. But that was a better way to engage the Brilliant Directories community. More people were on Facebook. Conversations are managed better. Discussions are managed better in Facebook, and LinkedIn was lacking. But there are thriving LinkedIn groups for a reason, because for those certain types of audiences, it's working. Twitter is more of like a news feed. You go on there and you're just getting a stream of news of people you're following. And sometimes you'll comment or retweet, but that's a place just to absorb, information, generally speaking. So it just depends how your community engages with your type of content, and figuring out where you would best fit in. Because you also, again, we all have limited resources at the end of the day, so you want to make sure that your efforts and your energy are going into the right places. That's why I was mentioning you don't need to be everywhere, just be in the right places.
Exactly. Choose one, give it your all, see if it works. If it doesn't, adapt, and you will find your niche.
All right. There are different ways. There are different types of welcome plan follow-up strategy. So a welcome plan is basically a follow-up plan for your new members. So here are some areas and some ways and some types of places where you can continue the welcome experience after a member initially signs up. The first one is the creating a powerful thank you page after the member signs up. You can take them to a page with additional resources, make it more like a portal. You can figure out what you want to do, but something that makes them feel warm and fuzzy and kind of tells them what to do next. That kind of ties into the initial email after the sign up. It could be the email that they receive that kind of explains what to do next, has some links to engage further with your community, and tells them what to do next. So the thank you page, the initial email after signups. And then again, this goes back to the idea of automation versus being hands-on. If you'd like to be more hands-on, you have the resources to do so, and it's worth your time and energy. You may want to make direct phone calls. I'm a big advocate if you're a directory just starting out, if you're a new community. I'm a talkative person. I like to call my members, welcome them, ask them why they joined, help them complete their profiles, set them up for success, see if they have other colleagues that would like to join the site. So in those cases, a welcome call can be highly effective. Just have yourself a little script or a little format that you follow on that welcome call, and it can be a great way to build a lasting relationship. Emails.
I always believe you should call your first 100 members. Just make a plan of it, regardless of how much you're charging. It's great to hear and connect with your actual end users. So set a goal to talk to your first 100 members, and you'll really learn a lot about the type of things that they're looking for, what their expectations are when they signed up. So you can see if you're in line with what you know you'll be able to deliver or not.
Even better, you're absolutely right, Pat, and take notes while you call them and write down the buzzwords that they use when they explain their problem. And your ultimate goal is to find out, this is how, political strategies work, is they do focus groups, they find out buzzwords, and that those are the words that they use, on their website and in their marketing. So find out how they're wording their problems, how they refer to certain terminology, and make sure that your website mirrors that terminology and addresses those specific problems that they're sharing with you on those phone calls. So it's almost like research that you're doing on those phone calls. And again, this little bit of work will help your website grow 100x, because your website's going to be smarter than the competition with this information. Also, standard ongoing emails and monthly newsletters, shower them with awesome content, high value industry information, just things that make them feel warm and fuzzy, make them feel important, and make them feel like they're a valued member of your community and that they're gaining something from being participating on it. We've heard this a lot. I believe Colette has mentioned this from New Zealand, and some other attendees here today are local meetups. If you're a local community or directory website and it makes sense, you could go ahead and have a cup of coffee with potential members or your existing members. You can have a conversation, meet them in person, and that's, again, another way to create a long-lasting relationship. And a fantastic way to welcome a new member is to just go ahead and shake their hand and meet them in person. And number 6 is something that's been more common the last few years, are webinar introductions to your community. It could be pre-recorded or live webinars. You can have them, every Tuesday at 4 o'clock, and your new members get a welcome email to join that webinar, to join you in additional channels, as we just mentioned. And the webinar explains to them the benefits and tells them that they're valued and what to do next, and all the resources available to them now that they're part of this community. So webinar introductions, video introductions, can be highly effective. In fact, the webinar introduction or the pre-recorded video could be something that you place on your thank you page. So a lot of these could be intermixed together, utilized together, or you can keep them separate. So now that we know the types of welcome plans, thank you page, email sign up, direct phone calls, what should we include in those? And what you should include are your best assets. And if you don't have any good content yet or resources that would be of value to potential members, you should create it. That should be part of the hamster wheel. Part of it is creating the copy and the assets that you're going to use in your marketing efforts. And your marketing efforts are the welcome plan that you're putting in place. Pat, the one about additional communication channels. When someone signs up to your site, what is really the benefit of asking them to join something else? Is that something that's going to annoy them, or how do you make that something into it seems like it's extra work. You just signed up for my site, now sign up for something else. How do you make that a benefit?
So normally, let's say it's a lawyer directory, just to use a specific example. If there's normally it's difficult for my members to communicate with other members, and I know we want to think that our directory is what is the most useful tool that we're offering to them, but surprisingly, oftentimes what people are most excited about is to connect with like-minded individuals, people that are facing similar problems, and having additional communication channels, especially when they can interact with other members of the directory and ask questions and answer questions, that will oftentimes become the most valuable part of what it is you have to offer. So take away the promotional opportunities that comes with that. Just the fact that you really are showing your members that you're servicing them. You're trying to make sure that you give them opportunities to connect with other people, ask questions, and you do care about them being able to grow.
So I think the key word there was exclusive invites to additional communication channels. So now that they've become a member, now they can access these additional channels to participate on. Got it.
Exactly.
Got it. So also what you want to do as far as creating assets is creating quality articles that provide high value industry insights. So what does that jargon mean? Is let's use the lawyer example. You used a lawyer directory. You want to create articles that are going to help them perform better in their industry. And that's content that they can only access by being a part of your site, and things that you want to include in the welcome plan. So now that they've joined your site, oh great, now I'm getting this awesome article on 10 ways to increase my customers each month, or whatever it might be. Video tutorials are fantastic as well. I really like them on how to best use the community. We've seen in the Facebook group, a lot of people create videos for potential members on what they can gain and how to best utilize the website itself. And those video tutorials are great for marketing. They show up in YouTube. They can be repurposed for many different marketing assets. And yeah, people like visual things like video tutorials that you can actually talk to your audience. Also creating how-to guides for the industry, or checklists that your members should make sure, the to-do lists or checklists that will help their business make sure that they're doing everything they should be doing to be either a part of your website or the best they can be in their industry. And it's easy to create 10-step checklists for X, Y, and Z. And then also other resources that, again, propel them towards being better at what they do, or providing them with the information and expectations that you promised them on the initial sign up. Another thing I like to do on welcome plans is showcase other members who have completed their profiles, have added a lot of content to the website. Show the new member that you're giving visibility to members who are participating on your website. And that's a great way to lead by example, and the new members will learn that if they participate on your website, they add content or whatever your end goal is, they too can be featured in your newsletters or wherever you are featuring your members. So showcasing your best members is also a great strategy to show the new members that they are part of a group, and hopefully those members that you're showcasing are very relatable to the new members. Maybe it's a prominent doctor of a doctor directory and whatnot. And then lastly, always throughout this process, explain to them why they should do any of the actions you want them to do, and incentivize them. Incentivize them with access to more features, or providing them with more visibility. Just figure out what drives them to want to be part of the community and do more of those things, and you will have very happy new members along the way.
And I think it's good to try to come up with a real life example, because it seems daunting, and that's why we go back to that hamster wheel, and it always starts off with, what problem are you solving and which audience are you addressing? I remember in a previous webinar, it's a concept I really, really liked, and it was about martial art dojos and studios, and the problem that they were tackling was the fact that these days they call them McDojos, and there are dojos just launching everywhere, but the instructors they don't have experience, and they don't have a high standard. So perhaps their entire mission, the initial problem they're solving, is for the end user, and the end user, what they're trying to do is they're building a directory of dojos that meet a certain standard, and they've gone through all these steps of ensuring that standard, and they have a vision and they have a mission to that directory. So they have a community for parents that want to enroll their kids, and they care about finding the right dojos where they have instructors that abide by that vision, and they want to make sure that they enroll their kids in the right dojo. And if they're not sure, then they should join this community, and that community will be of like-minded parents that also want to make sure that that quality is maintained. And then what they want to do is they want to write articles such as how to tell the difference between a dojo that has the right type of instructor leading it and the benefits of enrolling your kids in a dojo that has experience behind it. It's not just a somebody that took one martial arts class and said, I'm going to launch a dojo. And then they're saying why they should be participating, why they should be supporting the directory, because if it's important to them to support quality martial arts and to make sure that the dojos that abide by these standards and they believe into this vision that we have, that you need to help support them as well, and you need to spread the word, and we need to be a community. So it all starts by, what is that first need I'm filling? Who am I talking to? And then following this formula that we're sharing with you today, and just making sure you have a ton of content and supporting material to help support that one need that you're filling that makes your website different from the rest. And when all of that is packaged together, and when you make sure that when somebody signs up, they get that information delivered to them in an efficient way, then at that point you can come back and you can start at number one again and say, well, now I'm going to fill the need for the dojos, and I'm going to start this process again.
Well said, Pat. Yeah, and if you follow this process, you're doing things in order, and the work will complete itself just by cycling through these steps. So I wanted to come back to this slide. All right, let's get back up to speed where we were. All right. And the most important thing is, what can you guys do today to make sure that you're at least using some of the strategies here in welcoming new members with a welcome plan? And like we mentioned, a little bit of effort will go a long way. So here are some things you guys can do today. If you wanted to take notes on a slide, this would be the one. The first one is to create content on your site or curate resources that have true value for your new members, and you could surprise them with these resources after they sign up. I like to do checklists, whether it's like 6 steps to make sure your business is ready for 2019, and just provide them with these fun things that have some high value for them. What you should do today is update your welcome email template after new members sign up. I should go in the admin and show where that is, right, Pat? All right, take that as a yes. So for each of your membership levels, I'll just go to Manage Products here, and let's just edit one of these. Premium member Rick. So you can choose the sign-up email that's sent, and you can create your own, or you can choose from one of the pre-made ones. In this case, it's using the Welcome Basic template, but you can you can create your own custom email and then select it here. So anyone who signs up to this membership level will receive this email template. So where do you edit that? Well, let's go on over to Emails and Email Templates. I'll do a quick search just for the word basic. And it looks like we have this one customized already. We'll just click on Edit. And so this is the stock email template that comes. It just has some basic messages, welcome to the community. But you could take some time, put some title text here like this, like, it says, thank you for joining the fastest community. And then I'll just give you an example. You can just copy that and then say, oops, you can do something like what to do next, and you just create different sections, even if it's just this email, and have maybe 3 sections, welcoming them, what to do next, and additional resources that you'll love. Join our Facebook group and things like that. It's easy to create link text. You could just type what you want and then select the link here, and you can send them to the Facebook page that you want right here. And now you have link text here. Why not make it bold? There's a lot that you can do. There's a lot you can accomplish just by curating and crafting a nice welcome email per membership level that's for that specific person. And that ties into number 3. In the welcome email, explain what the membership benefits are and what to do next, and also provide them with some additional resources that they can further explore your entire community, the additional channels that Pat has mentioned a few times. Also, what you can do is share your best content. Perhaps give them access to a section of your site that is only for members. And like Jeff was talking, he wanted to have premium resources just for a certain type of membership level and hidden from everyone else. So give them access to that premium content. It could be a library of checklists and ebooks that you've put together. Again, they could be simple things. They could be 10-step guides. They don't have to be 100-page ebooks or checklists. So just create a nice cluster of resources that they now have access to. That will make them happy. And then again, invite the members to other channels. So that's a way for them to explore other avenues to stay connected to your community beyond just the directory website that they've just joined. And then lastly, keep the conversation going with a nice pulse in those additional channels. Post updates from time to time. What's really awesome about the Brilliant Directories platform is that it literally has 1,000,001 features built into it. Now here's a strategy for everyone. You don't have to release all the features to your members at the same time. As far as your members are concerned, you guys have developers constantly creating new features and updating the website. So, you might not have coupons from day one, but maybe 6 months after launching your site, you now allow your members to publish coupons on the website, and that could be a huge newsletter and announcement on the website, or whatever the feature is that you want to unlock and release with your Brilliant Directories website. So when you're starting out, keep things basic and simple, and you can release and unlock some of your BD features over time and make them big announcements. Say that your development team has been working round the clock to create X, Y, and Z, and make that positive news for your community, and they'll feel like this is an organization that is growing and that has a pulse. And you can keep them updated with newsletters, or again in those additional channels, or you can have your company blog and post it in your blog, share the blog article on your social media channels. Just keep the pulse of your website going so people know that you have your lights on for your business, for your organization, and that it's okay for them to participate with you. That was a mouthful, but I really think everyone in this webinar from this one slide can actually find some actionable steps to improve the welcome plan when new members sign up to your website. And I'd like to open it up to the attendees now. I'd like to know, if you want to raise your hand, who here has, let's say simply, just very simply, modified the welcome email that new members receive when they sign up, or who has a welcome plan in place when new members sign up, whether it's a phone call or you have an additional channel that you're directing them to participate on. Let's see, we have Colette here. There we go. How are you today, Colette?
Good, and you?
Excellent, excellent. How'd you like the tip of the week today?
Yeah, very good. Makes me realize I need to do a bit more work on that section, but I think I have a good welcome thing in place at the moment.
So what's kind of the strategy you're utilizing them? What do you welcome them with essentially?
I make a personal phone call. Just that also allows me to verify them as a member and welcome them. They do get the welcome email, which I have modified as well. But something that I really do need to do is some more videos, or some videos in terms of getting them to utilize the features better.
Got you. Yeah. Videos are very helpful. Also, videos can be a huge roadblock because on the one side, you want to produce the videos very quickly. On the other side, you want them to be super professional. So, and also whether some people don't like their own voice. So
yeah.
I've seen it many times. People aren't comfortable speaking, and that's a very common thing. So you have to find someone who can, create the tutorial or video for you. But if you can simplify it and perhaps slightly lower your expectations of what a finished product should be for the video, that might remove some of the roadblocks to getting those videos produced and published. And your members will still be thankful, even if the videos are not, 100% production, movie quality. They'll forgive you for that. They like the content of the video more than the production value.
Well, I like your idea of the member articles too. I might actually utilize that for my paid members and just do some articles with the how-to for each feature.
That's a great, yep, that you can use that as a channel specifically for the new members that sign up. Absolutely. All right. Do you have any tips for anyone in the audience, Colette, who might be a little shy or worried about getting their welcome plan set up?
For me, because I work in a small community, I do find that the personal contact is incredibly beneficial. So for me, making the phone calls or meeting the people has been the way to go in my community.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Colette.
No worries.
Yeah, I think when we launch a new business, you have to think, what is my competitor not doing? And something I can pretty much assure you is not happening with Yelp is you're not getting a personal phone call from the owner of Yelp welcoming you to the directory and seeing how he or she can be of service. And I think that today more than ever, we want to make that personal human connection. And it's great that Colette is doing that, and she's understood the value of that. And people, regardless of how big or how small you are, the fact that they can do business with somebody that's taken the time to get to know who they are, and they've identified and they've connected in a human way, goes a really, really long way. And that's something that everybody on this webinar can definitely be doing.
And you brought up a good point. That's the one thing. If you have two identical products, you need a competitive advantage. Why will a customer choose you? If the products are exactly identical, the one thing you can do is give that personal touch. And that's something that no one can take away from you. And if you could optimize and execute the format in which you deliver that personal touch, you're going to have a superior advantage over competitors. And again, you're going to sway people towards following your company as opposed to a competitor. So we have Eric, also our good friend Eric here. I'm going to unmute your microphone. Yeah, Eric, how you doing today? How'd you like the tip of the week today?
Oh yeah, it's something I've been trying to work on. I keep having both unsolicited businesses that are relevant and consumers joining the site. And every time a consumer joins, especially, I get the alert email and then realize that the email they received is pretty poor. So something I've been working on, because I do have, like you were saying earlier, that because of my member levels, I have, sort of like, I think about 5 different welcome emails to create, which is not a problem, but it takes a lot of time to figure out, okay, what's the best links to put in there to send them to, features to talk about, stuff like that. So
you bring up a good point. So to help simplify things for everyone here, I think the 3 things that you should include in your initial welcome email that the new member or the new sign up receives is welcome them, obviously, hello, welcome to the community. Create a list of 3 to 7 benefits, just a bullet list of what their new membership provides them with. Access to the community, this, that, and the other. And then what to do next. So these are the benefits of your membership, what to do next, and just give them 1 to 3 things to do next. And then also explain again, this goes back to explaining and incentivizing them. Explain to them in 1 sentence what the benefit is of completing those 3 actions. And then I think the third thing that you should tell them is stay connected with us, or also like have an additional channel. It could just be 1 additional channel. Like for Brilliant Directories, we're doing a strong focus on the Facebook group right now. First of all, it's a lot of fun for me, but it's been highly effective. So find 1 other channel. It could be your YouTube channel. Just get them to subscribe to your YouTube channel. It could be one of many things, but just have 1 thing for them additional channel for them to subscribe to. So explain up to 5 benefits of what they receive now that they joined, 3 things they should do next, and 1 additional channel they should stay connected to with you. And I think that at least would be the beginning stages of a quality welcome email.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. Like I said, I was messing with one a few weeks ago and, ended up spending 5 hours. You just get lost in trying to develop what to put in there. One of the issues I just sort of ran into was just getting the social media icons displayed, because the social media widget won't show when an email is sent, apparently.
Yeah, you'll want to use images for those if you want your social media links there. But also, while it looks good in the email for your social media links, it might, those are just there for decoration. So rather than doing that, again, you might want to choose one channel and put a stronger focus for them to join that channel. So rather than icons, and I'm just going to go to the Brilliant Directories site for a second. What we've put in the footer of our site is this banner here to join our Facebook group. It just took a few moments to create this. This is just an image, basically. And we just created this banner and put it in our footer. And that would be something good to put in your email as well, rather than just Facebook and Twitter icon. It really doesn't create an emotional connection. With a banner like this, you have people smiling. You can mention a benefit. Here it says join 1,000 BD users building their membership websites together. So I think one banner like this would be more powerful than having 3 or 4 icons to your different social media networks.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. Is that, again, you just call that as an icon, like you have to upload the image and then call that in the email?
Yeah, so it should work here. So you'd upload the image to your media library, and it should be available here. I'll just choose any image right now, this verified one. And then what you can do is just link the image to where you want it to go. I'll just click on the image, click on the insert link, and now we're done. Now there's an image in the email and it's linked. So that would probably be something to appropriately put towards the end at the bottom of the email.
Yeah, no, that looks good. Definitely great tips. I think emails are a big part, because I meet pretty much all the people I'm trying to get to join, and I've been pretty poor at following up with some type of like, hey, we met and here's some features and here's this and here's that. So
gotcha. Well, let me just go back a couple slides. The goals of the quality of a quality welcome plan. Just keep in mind, that's why it's good to talk to them, figure out the buzzwords that your potential members or new members are using, and you want to repeat that same terminology once you nail exactly what the key terms are. Again, they do it a lot in political campaigns. They do focus groups, and what we end up hearing on TV has gone through several filters as the best terminology or phrases to use that will have the biggest impact. And that's just marketing 101. So if you can really dial into what that terminology is, it's going to be easier for you to connect with your potential members. Thank you so much for your questions, Eric. We did cover some good things right now.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Have a good Thanksgiving.
You too. You gobble gobble. All right, good questions there, always from our friend Eric. All right, let's see if we got anyone else's hands raised here. We got VJ here again. VJ, you have any questions about the welcome plan here?
Yeah, hey Jason, thanks firstly for a great webinar. Perfect timing, because I'm actually just getting started with Brilliant Directories and importing claim listings into my website and all that. And the part that I was actually trying to figure out was, what do I write in terms of sending an email to all the listings that I've actually added as claim listings. So I really like that new blog post that you guys put up about email marketing in the blog on Brilliant Directories.
That's right. Yeah. I'll just navigate there right now. If you guys didn't know, we do have a blog at Brilliant Directories, and this is a great here. I'll share the link here. We do write some. Not only can you find all the webinars here, but we do write some good strategy articles here, like how to invite new members to your online directory with email marketing. There's a good template in there that you can modify. But yeah, let me post this link here in the chat. Everyone should get this right now. There you go. Yeah, we'd like to follow up with you on future webinars,
so yeah,
DJ, about the progress with that email campaign.
Yeah, exactly. So my question was, are there any more resources inside like the Brilliant Directory support area where there's more templates in terms of basically what this webinar was about bringing new members on board and stuff like that?
If there's anything, it would be in the blog section here. The support center, we try to stay more towards technical documentation rather than marketing strategies. But let me just search email here as a keyword. So we have some articles here, 4 ways to make sure your email list doesn't end up dead. So there are some articles here. You could search by keyword for different potential types of articles here. But more marketing-based strategy articles would be in the Brilliant Directories blog here.
Cool. Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you so much, VJ. We could end it there. It's almost 2 hours here. We want to thank everyone for joining us for another episode of Webinar Wednesday. We will have another webinar next Wednesday at the end of the month, so please everyone join us then. Rick, also thank you so much for your segment on Rick's Corner. It really became the theme of this entire webinar here.
It really did.
It was awesome. Yes, great. Thank you very much.
And yeah, don't forget, don't get stuck on the hamster wheel, guys. Continue to cycle through these different steps of managing your community. And then lastly, if you haven't already done so, please go ahead and take a moment to join our Facebook group. You can go to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook. And if we didn't get to your question here today, we'll be more than happy to continue the conversation in the Facebook group. So on behalf of myself, Rick, and Patrick, thank you so much for joining us. We'll catch you next week, and have a great Thanksgiving. Take care, guys.